Welcome to the Impact Revolution. Thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing?
Hi, Yoshi. Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. Thanks
Uh-huh.
for that little breathing practice before this.
No, please, it was a pleasure. I also wanted to do it, and I love to do any meditation or mindfulness practice. So, as discussed, Maddie, I would like to ask you a couple of questions that are a bit more personal in order to the audience to know you a bit better. And then later we can go to the more professional, business related one. Is that okay?
That sounds great.
Okay, cool. So the first question, because I already shared some, will be if you had all the money in the world, Maddie, what would you do?
Oh, wow. If I had all the money in the world, what would I do? I feel like I would work to make sure that money was going to make more money and then give it to the organizations that are doing some of the grassroots work in communities
Uh-huh.
and like building up local economies and empowering the people who are already giving themselves selflessly and who are educated and have the lived experiences to make change for their communities.
Mm.
Um, yeah, and then hopefully we would see a little bit of a better world and people lifting themselves up.
All right, great. Thank you so much. I was curious, about your answer about this one. Okay, thanks. So the second question will be, well, you didn't give me an answer at then before we start. If I ask you what was your happiest moment in your life, what is the first memory that comes to your mind, Maddie?
Oh wow. I don't know. I don't know off the top of my head. I think one of my happiest memories, I guess I'm looking at my cat now, was definitely adopting him from the Humane Society. Um,
Adulting, sorry?
I adopted my cat from the Humane Society.
Ah, okay, nice. All right.
So, yeah, and meeting him for the first time definitely brought me a lot of joy. He was in the back room because he was too anxious to come out and see me. And so I had to go back there with my friend, and he was pacing back and forth. And you could tell that he like really wanted to like me and come up to me, but he was also terrified. And so he was just kind of pacing.
Oh, that's really beautiful. All right, cool. All right, thank you so much. Now we go to more related to the business, Maddie. And this question, I don't know how you prepare it, but how someone who really admires you and highly respects you and knows you very well, Maddie will define who is Madi Case.
um, Yes, I did think about this question a little bit, and I like to
Hmm.
think about it in the ways that, like, kind of what other people have told me. Um, so
Hmm.
my boyfriend got me a mug that says "Unstoppable," and I
Oh, I love
really
it.
like that. Yeah, I think it communicates, just, like, my passion and my drive and, just, kind of in my pursuit of my dreams,
All
that
right.
I just resilience. I often have people tell me that they usually tell me that their therapist said the same thing. So I give my friends and a lot of advice, and they tell me that I talk similarly like their therapist, which
All
uh,
right, cool. Uh,
and yeah, I mean, at work, I do operations and like culture, and I try to really be a kind and welcoming space for our employees. And
uh-huh.
um, my boss has told me that, um, when the team has issues, she's like, go to Maddie, don't come to
Uh-huh.
me. She's like, Maddie is very kind and patient.
All right, very good. That's needed nowadays in corporations, right? Especially in the world of startups, right? When things can get messy.
Yeah.
A headache. All right, very good. I like this about passionate driving, and like your website, right, where you share many useful tools for emotional intelligence and other stuff like that. I was wondering, what is your why? What is the thing that drives you, Madi?
Yeah. So I've done a lot of work in building my own life and making sure that I have the tools and the resources and the knowledge to um, be fiercely independent and like really resilient and navigating this world with a lot of grace and awareness. And so, on that personal journey for myself, also investigating health, I just started to come across a lot of really beautiful resources that I really want to share. And I,
Hmm.
yeah, I want to help other people who don't know where to start or don't know where to look with kind of a one resource where they can come to and start their journeys and be able to pick and choose the teachers that resonate most with them. So part of it too is highlighting some of the people that I follow and I look up to
Hmm.
as a way to kind of spread their message, but then also um, not everyone's message is going to resonate with everybody, so helping creating a platform where people can find the people who do resonate. And then my
Uh-huh.
writing part of it too is um, kind of like sharing that vulnerable life experience and letting people know that they're not alone and, giving themselves grace and patience and um, just, letting them know that their experiences are normal and okay and can be
Mm.
embraced.
Mm. Totally, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I have suffered as well in this sense. We think that we are alone and we are so different, and at the end we are very similar, and we are all the same, and
Yeah.
and going through the same things, right? So
Mhm.
that's funny, yeah. All right, very good. I was thinking, about the business side. How do you implement this knowledge, right, and this transformation that you have gone through, Madi, in the business environment? And how do you help your colleagues on this?
Yeah, so it's definitely hard. Different stages of different companies have
Mm-hmm.
different resources that they can dedicate to, like the culture and the people. And, larger corporations can have entire teams that do diversity, equity, and inclusion, which, is really focused on employee well-being and employee resource groups. But in a startup, so I'm at a 30-ish person company.
Uh-huh.
So we don't have an entire team dedicated to that work.
Sure.
It's a
Uh-huh.
really we're all doing, wearing multiple hats. And so something that I try to do is lead by example.
Mm.
So
Very
on,
good.
yeah, so on Slack, like sometimes I have in there like wellness break um, as like a way to kind of encourage the team to take that time for themselves as well. And there was one day when I was really struggling with my mental health, and so I posted in the channel and I, let people know that I was having a hard day um, and then kind of created that space for them to have hard days too and let people know that they can come and talk to me. Um,
Mm.
because, mental health doesn't care if it's, the first day of the week of the quarter and you've got a million things to do. Your mental health is ever present and is a constant journey. Um, so yeah, I try my best to lead by example, and I am in charge of onboarding our new hires. And so
Mm-hmm.
part of that too is making sure that everyone who starts at our company is empowered with all of the tools and the knowledge for success. Um, and sometimes that's like teaching them about how health insurance works in the United States and um, in addition to getting them set up with the softwares that they need. Um,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
because it is important that um, we really teach people because not everyone knows how to navigate these systems, right? And
Uh-huh.
so making sure that I'm a resource for our new hires, our employees to utilize all of the
Uh-huh.
benefits that we're providing them.
All right. Very good. Thank you. And what are the main challenges that you might have faced so far, Maddie?
Yeah, with you mean like with kind of in like my role and trying to
In your
create this
role,
mindset.
yeah, this creating this mindset. That's right.
Yeah. So one of the challenges right now is that we're a really small company, and so I mean, I love researching health and you know doing the work that corporations should be doing to support their employees. But because we're such a small team, I don't have a lot of time to dig
Mm,
into that as deeply as I want to. And so, yeah,
mm-hmm.
the
Sure.
challenge there is trying to figure out the little things that I can do to really support our employees and yeah, remind them to take care of their mental, physical, emotional well-being. And so, like I said, I try to lead by example, and we do a lot of celebration at
Mm-hmm.
RoboFlow as well, which is really wonderful. And so, every other week we just celebrate someone on our team, and we all write nice things about them. And
That's nice.
yeah, that's an
Very nice.
initiative that my boss started, and it's just been this beautiful practice of recognizing people, um, as people and also their contributions to the company. And so that's,
Mm,
hugely valuable. Um,
definitely. Yeah, that's very important for the culture and for the engagement and yeah,
mhm,
motivation, right?
yeah,
Totally.
yeah, yeah. And then RoboFlow is also set up in such a way where everyone has the autonomy and the freedom to work when they want to and how they want to.
Uh-huh.
And so I think that, a lot of times, that's what I love about being in the tech startup world is that people are allowed to, you know, work when
Mm-hmm.
they work best, right? So there's no one telling them this is what you have to wear, this is what you have to do, this is the environment you have to work in. At RoboFlow, everyone gets to pick their environment. So I'm most successful in my living room. Um,
Uh,
so I
uh-huh.
get to sit in my living room all day, and if I want my fidget toys, I can reach for them. Or if I need to take a break and go for a walk outside, because I need to sort out my thoughts, I can do that, right? And so a lot
Mm-hmm.
of times in these corporate environments, pre-COVID, really, we've seen a huge shift in this. But pre-COVID, people were told, sit at this desk,
Uh-huh.
be productive at this desk, and you're going to be here for 8 hours, and then you're going to go home. And there's not a lot of leeway in people. Um, creating the space that they need. Some people get really distracted if they have to work next to someone
Mm-hmm.
else, right? So
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Totally, yeah.
why, right? Like, what if instead we looked at employees and we're like, hi, like, welcome to this company. Tell us a little bit about how you want to work and where you want to work and what a productive environment looks like for you. And it's our job as a company to make sure that you have that environment so that you
Mm.
can be the best version of you, right?
Uh-huh.
Like, how
Uh-huh.
cool would that be if you
Yeah,
started
that would
every
be awesome,
job?
right? Yeah. I think we're getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that you guys have this kind of culture already implemented and this
Mhm.
flexibility, right? Because that's something that new generation especially are going to be demanding more, and our generation, right,
Mhm.
as well they are starting. Very good, yes. And what are your main lessons learned you think that you have gotten so far about the best business practices that have this kind of culture to
Y
be the best?
yeah, I think that businesses can really benefit by asking questions, right?
Mm,
And giving their employees that autonomy. So, um, yeah, making sure that businesses are creating space for each individual to show up as themselves authentically. And
mm-hmm,
part of that is, employee resource groups and acceptance and, resources or support that every person needs to be the best version of themselves in the workplace. So I think that, um, and obviously there's it's easier to
mm-hmm.
say that, right? And be like, "Oh, this is just what needs to happen." It's a lot more complex than that. But I
Yeah.
do think that anything that we can do to really listen to the people and listen to the people who are working for you and asking them what their needs are and asking them how they can be seen authentically in the workplace. Because that's something that studies are also coming out and showing us is that people who are unsafe or have to hide part of their identities and mask who
Mm,
they are, um, that's a lot of invisible work that they're doing every day in addition to their job. So,
mm,
how can we try to get rid of that invisible work? How can we let people just authentically be themselves so that they can dedicate all of their energy to to the work that the company wants them to be doing, right? And that's
mhm,
only going to benefit the company. It's only going to benefit the people. Um, I mean, I'm
mm,
a huge proponent too of a 4-day work week and creating, giving people more time off to enjoy their lives and allowing that rest and the percolation of ideas and the space for
mhm,
creativity.
mhm.
Um, so I mean, I think that would be really cool if our working environments, if people could kind of choose how much they wanted to work and, um, our natural cycles in our body, like we're not designed to work 8 hours straight, from 8
Uh-huh.
a.m. to 5. Our
Sure.
natural energy levels, like we have a lot more energy in the morning, and then it kind of dips in the afternoon, and then it comes back up in the evening, right? And if you look at Latin cultures, a lot of times there's like an afternoon nap, or in Europe, everywhere, or Spain, the restaurants all shut down, and people just go home and spend time with their families, or
Yeah.
um,
Take a nap,
so
la siesta.
yeah.
There is a break time, yeah, 2 or 3 hours. All right,
Mhm.
interesting, very good. So I was thinking, and again, like, what do you think is preventing these things that you just shared to be implemented, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, um, if we look at the people in power and we look at like who's benefiting, um, and then we also look at, the tradition and the history of this. This is to change this system is kind of to upheave an entire way of life. And I think
Mm,
we saw a bit of an upheaval with COVID and a lot of people, working remotely. And I think, we are all resistant to change in some way. And the people who are benefiting from the current system are often the people in power. And they don't want to see that change because they know they're benefiting right now, right? So, will they be
yeah.
benefiting in the future? And if they can't say definitively that they will be benefiting, then they're not going to want to have that system change, right?
Mm, sure.
So, um, yeah, I mean, I think that we're all a little bit resistant to change, and I think it was really cool the way that, a lot of people were able to work remotely during COVID, and, like, in some states, there was a lot of resources for, people who were laid off, to continue to collect paychecks, and,
Mm,
I that was, pretty different from the way that we currently treat our employees. So,
mm.
I think we're definitely moving in the right direction. But um, yeah, I think we're coming up on, we're just hitting that like who's benefiting and will they be benefiting in the future?
Yeah, I think the business practices that most companies have, I don't think are sustainable in the long term, and I think they
Hmm.
are starting to realize it, in
Hmm.
some places at least, not all of them.
Yeah.
And as you say, yeah, I agree with you. I think the people that are more resistant are the ones that are benefiting from the current stage, and they are afraid to get this
Hmm.
power out, and
Hmm.
see to the uncertainty and all that stuff. Yeah. All right. Very good. I normally ask this question at them, but I think we got to a point that I would like to ask you, Maddie.
Okay.
What will be the last words that you would like to leave to the world if you were, let's say, you were to die tomorrow? It's a bit dramatic. It's a bit dramatic, I know. But
Yeah.
yeah, what are the
No
last
pressure,
words?
no pressure. Um, yeah, I think that the more that people can have compassion for themselves and, um, start showing themselves that same like love, grace, and patience, I think that we're gonna see that, it's kind of like the cup overflowing, right? You fill your own cup first, and then as it overflows, it spills out into the people around you. And so I think that's if people can practice loving themselves, that love is only going to overflow and create more compassion and empathy for our communities and for our colleagues and for our employees.
Uh-huh.
Um,
All
right,
right.
like instead of saying like this benefits me and it takes away, like there's this abundance, right? In that um, someone loving their job doesn't take away from the ability for someone else to love their job, right? And so
Yeah.
how do we create that abundance where everybody can have the ability to pursue their dreams?
Yes, totally.
So
Yeah, it's
yeah.
moving from the scarcity mindset to the abundance mindset, I think.
Hmm.
And in few words, how would you say what you just shared?
Oh man. Yeah, I would say I think that I think that we can all benefit from spending some time with ourselves and spending some time healing ourselves, loving ourselves, giving ourselves grace, forgiveness, compassion. And
Hmm.
I think that reminding ourselves and starting to bring awareness to when we notice we're making decisions out of fear
Uh-huh.
and scarcity, and practice um, first practice, noticing when that fear is showing up and then kind of, attacking it or like fighting it in some way, right? Where you're like, okay, fear, I see you. I know that you're present here. And like, are you needed? Like, is this something I really need to be scared about? And I think that when we fight that fear, we're also going to be fighting that scarcity.
Mm. All right. Very good. Yeah. Thank you. That's interesting. No, yeah, I was thinking, you talk about several times about the resources, right? And I also checked your website, and I was wondering, Maddie, what are your favorite top one, two, three resources or tools that you might use in order for, you know?
Yeah. Something that I really love, it's called emotional freedom technique.
Okay.
And so it's tapping on your body's acupuncture, like meridian points, and oftentimes like with a script. And I love this because you can go onto YouTube and you can say EFT4, you can say anxiety, depression, abundance, imposter syndrome, literally anything, right? And you just go on YouTube and then you can find a teacher that resonates with you and watch their videos and repeat after them, and it's essentially free therapy,
Uh-huh.
readily available for anybody who wants it. And you can pick the teacher that you like, and you can search for the ailments or your struggles.
All right.
So
So this emotional freedom technique, what is about video. So you look for what is worrying you, uh, and then you do it, and you look on YouTube and find the teacher.
mhm,
Yeah. All
mhm,
right.
yeah, and it can also be something good too, or you can do it for like digestion.
Uh huh.
Um, but you
All
can
right.
I there's one teacher, her name's Gayla Darling, and I really like her. She's a little over the top. She's kinda Hollywood. But she's a lot of fun because she's just living her authentic life, and she
Uh
has some EFT tappings, for, like, bringing in money, just
huh.
just having an abundance mindset around money,
Uh-huh.
um, and it's kind of fun and fierce, so,
All right. Very cool. Yeah.
um
And and what else? Do you have any other favorite resources?
Yeah, I would encourage people to look at their teachers and their mentors and assess, the backgrounds of those people.
Okay.
So, something I notice is that, there's a lot of, um, self-help teachers or, like there's a lot of, like, self-help teachers who are really religious or, um, white men or,
Mm-hmm.
but just noticing, just looking at your teachers and being like, am I learning from Black creators? Like, do I have mentors across genders, across ethnicities, across socioeconomic status? Am I actively, building, um, a well-rounded approach,
Uh-huh.
um,
All
and
right.
just making sure that I'm listening to multiple voices. So, um,
Very good.
yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, we want to read and to discover new mindsets and perspectives of the same thing, really, which is,
Mhm,
emotional intelligence and be calm and be able to be resilient in the face of changes, right? Hmm.
mhm.
All right. Very good. And do you have, by the way, you also mentioned a few time mentors. What are your favorite ones? Do you
My
have
favorite
any?
mentors?
Uh-huh.
Um, so there's a book, it's called Heavy by Kies Lamone. I might be butchering his name, but it's
Uh-huh.
called Heavy. And
Heavy.
yeah, and he's a big Black man, and he wrote this book, and it's just this most vulnerable, raw, beautiful book about his
Uh-huh.
experiences.
Uh-huh.
Um, so
Uh-huh.
I just really love it. And so I think that he would be one of my mentors. Um, I really like Malcolm Gladwell. Um,
Uh-huh.
I
All
like a
right.
lot of the work that Gabby Bernstein does. But I mean, with all of these teachers, it's like, take some, leave some. Um, Brene Brown has some really powerful work coming at it
Sure.
from like more of like a research perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there's I feel like it's The Cure for Chronic Pain is another podcast that's really good. And I don't know. I mean, there's so many wonderful teachers and resources, and
Yeah,
um,
definitely.
even
No,
just
thank
like
you. Yeah.
yeah, the Netflix documentaries Explained. I don't know if you've
Sorry?
ever watched those. Explained on Netflix.
Explain
Uh huh.
on Netflix? No, no, but I take a note. No, what is this
Yeah.
about?
It just explains, so they'll just pick a topic. So last night I watched one about, dance craves, and it just
Uh-huh.
talks about dance craves on social media and kind of like the issues about it and then like what it is, and
Uh-huh.
it's just cool.
All right. Okay. No, I haven't. I don't have Netflix. I don't watch it, so I don't know. But I like sometimes to watch some documentaries and some things that are good, especially if it's
Yeah.
related to the mind. All right, very
Mhm.
good. Thank you. We have 1 minute and a half left, Maddie. I love the interview. It's very cool and very relaxing. And I was wondering if there is anything else you would like to share that we haven't covered yet, Maddie?
Um, yeah, so something that I'm really big on is just, like, bringing awareness to my life.
Mm-hmm.
So, I would challenge, listeners and watchers to, yeah, to start to notice your life and how it makes you feel.
Mm.
And this can be like the things that you're eating or the environments that you're in, or, just getting into your body and your senses.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Totally. I agree. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. What
Yeah.
would you be your best advice for that
Well, a really
to
simple
practice it?
practice just to get started, yeah, is just,
Uh,
just like, so right now I'm just sitting on this couch and I'm just noticing like the textures around me and like how different things
mm,
feel on my skin, and um,
uh-huh.
just like how my body's feeling inside, and am I feeling grounded and supported? Is that
Uh-huh.
surface like hard? Is it soft? Am I cold? Am I warm? What am I
Uh-huh.
smelling?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
All right, very good. Yeah, I like that. Body sensations. Very good, Maddie. We are at the end of the interview. I don't know if there is anything else that you wanted to share, or we can call it off for now.
Yeah, I thank you so much for having me and
No.
for chatting with me. This was a lot of fun.
Thank you to you, Maddie. Thank you so much. We'll catch up soon then. All right. Thanks
Okay,
a lot.
sounds good.
See you now. See you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.